Planet Vero Studio is powered by the Nolan Group of eXp Realty. MyNextHomeFinder.com.
Welcome to Treasure Coast Community Health. We have 8 locations to serve you better. Our staff is dedicated to help you and your family. Here's your host, Vicki Soule.
And good afternoon. Welcome to Community Conversations. As you have just heard, I am the CEO of Treasure Coast Community Health, where we provide primary medical, dental, behavioral health, pharmacy, x-ray, lots of different primary health care things to keep you healthy from the moment of your birth and discharge from the hospital, I hope, until your last breath. And we do our very best to make it easy for you to get the good health tips and tools and supplemental things that make it easier for you. And that includes all the partnerships that we have. Very happy to be part of such a collaborative area. And so today, not for the first time, we're having a spotlight on Treasure Coast Food Bank. For the first time for me, though, Judy Cruz is here. She usually sends one of her fine senior staff. But today it's Judy and Vicki. So welcome, Judy.
Thank you so much for having me. We're always so thrilled to participate, and we love having invitations here. So thank you.
Well, it's our pleasure. We have partnered as organizations for many, many years. Yes. You mentioned COVID as we were walking into the studio. And at that time, as I recall, you delivered pallets of food boxes to our locations so that we could hand them out for people that were coming in. Yeah. So I guess we're part of a network of how many partners?
Well, we have over 300 partners throughout the Treasure Coast. We serve 4 counties, Indian River, Martin, St. Lucie, and Okeechobee counties.
And so you were saying that unlike us, that with maybe 100 volunteers, you number in the thousands of people that volunteer with you.
You know, it's fortunate that we have so many wonderful giving people in our community. And one of the best things that folks can give is their time. For Treasure Coast Food Bank, that's labor hours. And we couldn't do our work without our volunteers. And in a typical year, we have well over 6,000 volunteers.
That's amazing. Now, some of them are maybe one time for a packing event or something like that. And some of them, I'm sure, are regulars that make a weekly commitment.
We do. We have volunteers that show up on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, and on a monthly basis.
Wow.
And they work in all different aspects of the organization, from sorting food to packing meal boxes, meal preparation, doing home deliveries directly to clients.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. It's really any kind of experience that you want to have in supporting your neighbors in need in the community. You can have it through the food bank, through the volunteer efforts.
Now, one of the things that I found when I first joined Treasure Coast Community Health was the idea of being in neighborhoods as opposed to 1 or 2 centralized locations. Because while that's very efficient from a business perspective, it is very difficult if you as a volunteer or as a patient of ours has a transportation issue. So where are your volunteer opportunities? Do you have like a couple of main warehouses?
So we do. The bulk of our operations is in St. Lucie County.
Sort of centralized.
Within a 2-mile radius, we have several locations. We also have a satellite office down in Martin County off of Dixie Highway. But we service the community on wheels. We are rolling, and our programs roll. So there's opportunities for volunteers to meet at distribution sites, at our mobile market grocery store sites, and volunteer directly at those locations. So if you're connected with the food bank through a volunteer opportunity, that information is available where the volunteers are located. So if you're in Indian River County and you don't want to drive down to Fort Pierce, but you want to support something for the organization and for your community, you can connect and go directly to the location.
Because you do have a lot of partner agencies that act as food distribution or food pantries.
Right, and then our own direct services as well, our mobile distributions. We do those every day, and those require volunteers as well.
Oh, I didn't realize that, because as I mentioned, Annabelle Robertson,
yes.
I knew her when she was more active in another nonprofit, and now she's your distribution mobile manager.
She's our chief impact officer, so she works with our programs.
Sorry, Annabelle.
No,
Wrong
that's
title.
Okay. She's like everybody else. She wears many hats. So in the food bank, yes, in the food bank, we all have to wear many hats, depending on what is going on that day.
I understand that perfectly. It's no different in healthcare.
In nonprofit, especially, as you know, we might have a goal of getting something done today, and it doesn't happen because something else happens that requires our
things.
Yes. So, the title is something, but it doesn't mean anything when the community needs service.
So tell us about the mobile network that you have, because that's something that you really started up around COVID or after. I'm not sure exactly what the timeline is.
We really, our mobile pantry program, we've been running for 12 years. It really came to light during COVID because of the national awareness around people struggling with food insecurity during those times. So everybody really, there was a heightened awareness, especially on the local and national news, of people waiting in lines for food. Treasure Coast Food Bank, because we're a small organization and we don't have the manpower to...
Okay, now I'm sorry, I have to interrupt.
Yes.
You're not a small organization. You have 6,000 volunteers, and I know the impact that you have. But comparatively, is what you're saying.
Employee-wise, right. Employee-wise, we can't be everywhere. So mobile pantries allow us to go directly to clients.
Gotcha.
And affords us the opportunity to serve, thousands of people in a short period of time. So during COVID, that model, which was run throughout food banks across the country for years, really became, there was a heightened awareness around that and the importance of that and the efficiency of it. And there were things that we learned how to do it a little bit more efficient, how to speed things up so that we could move people through the lines quickly.
Can you give me an example, a kind of before and after?
Just little things about keeping your trunk opening the trunk before you get there.
As they come through.
And have stations staged and as you're driving through, people putting stuff in the trunk of the car, and then having somebody at the end close the trunk so that somebody doesn't have to get out and do it. Where before it was like the owner of the car would get out, close their trunk. So all of those things stop the line. And we, turn to our national partners to improve logistics and shared that information throughout our food bank network. And those little things that were aha moments and why didn't anybody?
Like, why didn't we think of that?
Turned into part of our operational plans. And that's where the impact of volunteers came into play, because it allowed us to really stretch our fleet, and our drivers by sending them out with food, and then knowing that there'd be an army of volunteers there to help support the logistics end of it. And it was just really an easy way for people to quickly receive food, to do it in the comfort and safety of their car, and not have that exposure and and ease that anxiety. Because one of the things early on with COVID was that uncertainty about what was going to happen. Is there going to be a major food supply shortage? It was an equal opportunity effector, whether you had means or you were struggling. And just being able to ease the anxiety of the community, knowing that the food bank was going to be there in some way, providing healthy food to the community was I think very settling for a lot of people.
Oh, absolutely. I worked at a food distribution here in town, and great efficiencies. And a lot of, thank you. They actually last year added soft products. And so when you were talking about the anxiety, of COVID, I'm not sure still to this day why there was a big rush on toilet paper, except that we live in Florida, and anytime there's an emergency, it's usually a hurricane, and the stores are closed, and we don't want to run out of toilet paper.
I know. And we received tractor trailer loads of toilet paper, and it was like paper gold.
Like gold, yeah.
We had to, safeguard it and lock it up and make sure.
But for the area that I was in, there were a lot of fruits and vegetables that were being distributed. And again, sort of like liquid gold. People were, the volunteers actually were talking about different ways that they had prepared different vegetables that might not always be able to be put on the table,
right?
Because of cost or availability.
Yeah, and that's one of the sad things, but a reality for the people living not only in our community but in the state as well. We're a state flush and rich with wonderful produce, and we have a 10-month growing season, and we ship everything out.
Yeah,
and the things that stay behind are less than desirable in some cases, but also very costly. And it for people that are already struggling with financial issues or maybe some health disparities, trying to afford to pay for everything and put healthy food on their table is really very challenging. And that's one of the priorities and the main areas of focus for our organization. We want to feed people today to get them nourished, but we also want to give them the things that will create a healthy lifestyle and really help cut down on any long-term or potential health issues that could come into their lives or their family's life.
And you've done a fantastic job at that.
Thank you.
We're going to take a short break, though. It's a nice time to segue into some other things, and then we'll be right back.
Thank you.
The new year is underway, and it's time to schedule your annual physical. This quick, comprehensive visit can uncover diabetes, high blood pressure, and even cancer, ultimately saving your life. Treasure Coast Community Health waives Medicare deductibles and offers a sliding fee scale discount, so everyone can afford to take care of their health. We can't fix what we don't know. Let's work together to make a healthier community. Call us today at 772-257-TCCH. We're a nonprofit.
At Sunshine Furniture, our 35,000 square foot showroom is filled with the largest selection of in-stock coastal furniture on the Treasure Coast. Dining and bedroom sets, occasional tables, sofas, sleeper sofas, love seats, and chairs, including lots of slipcover styles from Universal, Four Seasons, and Capri. We also have a gallery of Tommy Bahama and Lexington furniture with styles designed for a relaxed approach to the finer things in life. Right now, we're having a summer sale with lots of great markdowns, including all pictures, lamps, and accessories half price. Sunshine Furniture, $12.95 US 1 in Vero Beach next to Planet Fitness. Family owned and operated since 1991. Don't forget to visit our outlet and closeout store directly across the street and visit our website at sunshinefurniturecasual.com.
Sunshine Furniture brightens up your day. Sunshine Furniture, the best in every way. Ooh, have a sunshine day. Sunshine.
You can trust Sandpiper Pest Control, serving Indian River, St. Lucie, and Brevard. Certified by the state of Florida to treat homes, lawns, and termites. Fully licensed and insured. Priced right, effective, and friendly.
Hi, this is Joel, the owner of Sandpiper Pest Control. Sandpiper can solve your pest issues. No contracts to sign, just results.
Call for a free estimate, 772-589-0204. Sandpiper Pest Control, a member of the iTex trading community. Your iTex dollars are welcome.
And welcome back to Community Conversations. If you're just joining us, my name is Vicki Soule. I'm the CEO of Treasure Coast Community Health, a strong organization of primary care providers. So if you don't have a primary care provider, whether it's a doctor, dentist, nurse practitioner, or behavioral health counselor, please don't hesitate to give us a call, 257-8224. And we'll be happy to set you up with an appointment, whether you have insurance, don't have insurance, have a little bit of insurance and a big deductible. We'll make it affordable for you. So today I'm talking with Judy Cruz, who is the head honcho at the Treasure Coast Food Bank. And she's just been a delightful font of information for me. no matter how long we've lived here or how much we think we know about the comings and goings of produce and food, there's always something more to learn. So one of the things that Judy shared with me is they buy an awful lot of food. So thank you for all of you that donate directly in cash, checks, money orders, PayPal, however you do it, to keep that going, because food insufficiency is an insecurity is still a huge, major issue for us in this county, and I dare say across the state because of inflation. Mm-hmm. Have you seen an increased demand in the last 6 months, Judy?
We have. I keep going back to COVID, and COVID, we saw a 200% increase and kind of leveled off. And we were looking at prior numbers in 2019 at about a 50% increase. Over the last few months, it's been ticking up incrementally because of the cost of fuel and food costs and other factors. Just the prices of everything have skyrocketed. Yeah. So we're seeing. It kind of reminds me of back when the Great Recession occurred back in 2008, and when we had people working, they just weren't earning enough to make ends meet. Right. And we're kind of back in that same scenario. People are working. They're still recovering from maybe layoffs or not earning, what they would have during those last 2 years. So they're trying to play catch up with credit card bills and other things. And those are the kind of folks that we're seeing. They're working, and they're doing everything that we can. So we're encouraging people to allow us to help them with their food budgets so that they can invest back into paying down their bills. And more importantly, we want to keep people in their homes. And with the increases, if they're renting, being able to pay them.
Wow, that's huge.
It is. And those are the stories that we're hearing. And then for the older population, there's still a fear out there with COVID, and people are very concerned. And a lot of people are not going back to work. They've taken early retirement. So they're trying to figure out how to live on that income that they weren't expecting to, because maybe they were looking at continuing to work for the next 5 or 8 years, or maybe even 10 years. And so there's a lot of changes going on.
Without a doubt. So to that end, to be helpful, if someone found themselves in that position and they want to look you up online, could they find out where, again, in concern of not too much exposure, going to a full grocery store? Sure. Could they find out where your mobile routes are? Sure.
We have a bunch of different opportunities for people to access food and to access resources. Okay. And that's through our website at stophunger.org. You can go on there, and we also have case managers that can help connect people with different benefits. But on our website, you can access mobile distribution information. We also have an order ahead program, which is kind of like a home delivery or pickup service, like a retail shopping. I don't want to name any of those services, but you go online, you can select things that you might need for your pantry, and then you can schedule a pickup at one of the food bank locations, or if you don't have transportation, one of our wonderful volunteers come do deliveries.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
Yeah, so it's a shopping service, and it's a free shopping service that we offer, and it's an opportunity for you to make sure that you're not skipping any meals. There's some prepared meals. We have a food production kitchen, and we do hot meal preparation and cold meal preparation, and we do about 10,000 meals a day, and we deliver those out throughout the area as well.
So I'm familiar with the Senior Resource Association's Meals on Wheels. So is that a similar program?
It's similar to that, yes. Okay. We work with children's programs and senior programs, and we do after-school meals, and we do congregate feeding sites, and we do summer feeding. Right now, we last year we just launched our summer feeding program. And we've, been doing that for 10 years as well. And we provide... You
brought a lot on board when you came.
We did. We got to feed people. That's what the food bank's about. It's about providing as much food as possible and connecting as many partners as necessary, because we can't do it alone. It takes the entire community.
It takes a village.
Yes, it does.
So Stop Hunger. TrezorCoast.org, is that a local website or is that a national?
No, that's our website.
Okay.
That's our food bank
Okay.
website. Yeah.
Okay, because a lot of people are pretty funny about, I want to help my community.
Yes.
I don't want it to go, up to Tallahassee or
Sure,
wherever.
sure. So Treasure Coast Food Bank's website is stophunger.org, and Treasure Coast is part of Feeding America Network. We're one of 200 food banks nationally that are a member of Feeding America. So we're your local Feeding America food bank.
So if someone didn't feel they could make a cash donation, which is encouraged, I might add, because Judy tells me that you will order like a whole truckload of a certain item.
Yes.
And then supplement it with donations from others. And so that's what I wanted to bring to the forefront.
Sure.
It's not one or the other is better. Local church drives and community service clubs bringing food donations of non-perishables is what gives you the ability to give people what they might like better.
Right. The variety.
Yeah.
Right. So we rely on businesses and organizations and children's groups like
Boy Scouts and Girl
Boy
Scouts
and Girl Scouts and youth organizations and key clubs to hold these food drives, and these gated communities that have these wonderful farewell food drives at the end of season when they're going back home. They clean out their pantry. That's where we get a good variety for folks. We buy tractor trailer loads of food, but we're buying a tractor trailer load of chicken noodle soup, or we're buying a tractor trailer load of canned, green beans, or, peanut butter or grape jelly. But these individual food drives is where we get the variety, where we get strawberry jelly, or we get really nice
corn instead of green beans.
Or we'll receive different kinds of soups like lentil soup or chunky beef soup, or all the different things that we just we don't have the capacity in our warehouse to hold all of those types of items if we were to buy it by the tractor trailer load, and we purchase by the load because it's more cost effective. So the dollar goes a longer way when we have a donor dollar. We want to make sure we're investing it and doing the best that we can to bring in as much food as possible. So these varieties that we get through people donating through food drives is an awesome opportunity for us to allow clients to have that variety in their pantries.
And this probably isn't as popular a question as it might have been 8 or 10 years ago before we had citrus greening and those types of things. But, my mango tree is all in seeding, it's making those mangoes. And if I can keep the squirrels away from them, I'm going to have many more than we can eat. Are those kinds of donations accepted or not?
So what we encourage people to do, because we are such a fruitful community, we encourage you to take your backyard produce to your local pantries, and those are also listed on our website. Because of some USDA regulations and things, when we're accepting produce, we have to accept it through certain guidelines and meet these certain criteria.
Well, local works,
right?
Yeah. You don't have to worry about the heat of a half-hour drive to and fro. I mean,
and plus, if you have to drive up to Fort Pierce and you live in Indian River County, bring it to your local pantry, and they'll love it and enjoy it as much. If you need help finding someplace, because we do have people that have lots of fruit trees, and it's amazing how much they harvest in their backyard. We always are happy to share and help make connections if it's a little bit hard for people to find that connection.
I presume the one thing, and we're just about out of time, that you don't carry is meats. Is that correct?
Oh, no, we do. We have a lot of different types of frozen proteins. We have chicken and beef. And
all right. So they need to go to your website.
Yes.
And we are out of time. Thank you so much, Judy. You packed info right to the end. I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed being here.
We'll have you back again.
Thanks.
And thank you for staying with us. Spread the word of any of the knowledge that you have gained, because that is our intent, is to make this community better each and every day through each of you. Thank you and good night.